White guy with a podcast mic jump scare. You have been warned. Hey, and welcome back. My name's Tom, and today I'm going to take you through my top 10 favorite albums project. This was a personal project I kind of gave myself to post on Instagram to kind of have more to post on Instagram. It's heavily inspired by Jesse Nyberg's Hardcore Alphabet, which that video I will link below because it's super cool, obviously super inspiring, and I wanted to kind of change up more or less what my style was, and try and do different things with different posters, with different kind of aesthetics. So that's what this project is. So I'll take you and count you down from 10 and kind of go through, and we'll look at each design and kind of what I was thinking. Number 10, we'll start with Chromatica by Lady Gaga. I really love this. I think it was a strong start. Yeah, I think this is really cool. I made a Chromatica poster a couple years back that I ended up just straight up not liking after a couple weeks, so I feel like I redeemed myself with this one. So I wanted to keep some elements of the original aesthetic or the art, but more or less the idea was kind of taking the album that I listened to and seeing it in my brain and kind of putting it on to paper, I guess you could say. But this is what I came up with. I kept a script in there and a really strong sans serif font, and I don't know, I really like how this came out. It's really strong. It's not revolutionary by any means, but I think it was a good first project to kind of get me into the groove, and I really like how it turned out. Big fan. Alright, number 9 is Being Funny in a Foreign Language by the 1975. I feel like this is very my style, in the sense that it's super minimal. Colors are also there's only 2 colors really used throughout, and Nimbus Sans is all over this thing. Nimbus Sans is all over this project, but it's too good. Helvetica Who? Nimbus Sans. I used the same scripty font that I used for the Lady Gaga post, but I just think that typeface is fun. I think it's called, the typeface is Vivaldi MN on Adobe Fonts, but I'm sure literally everyone has seen it before. I thought it paired nicely with a very clean, sans serif, but either way, I really like this poster. I think it's also really strong. The blue is from promotional stuff from the album, I think from the art even, so that's where kind of that comes from. And also the car at the bottom is kind of the car that Maddie's standing on in the original album art. So just keeping, random elements from the original art, but I'm a fan of this one. This one's good. Another solid one. I don't think it's, again, not reinventing the wheel, but it is kind of, I feel like we're gaining momentum in this moment. Number 8 is Commit This to Memory by Motion City Soundtrack. I hate this. So the original idea for this project was for me to design something 10 weeks consecutively, and I got to this one, I posted 2 weeks in a row, got to this one, completely just didn't know what to do. And I think you can tell. It's just super simple. I do kind of like it. I've come around on it. It's not my least favorite, but it definitely isn't my favorite. But the way it's laid out, I feel like it would be a cool inner sleeve design. So the sleeve that the actual vinyl record sits in, if you pull it out, this is what you would see. I think that's cool. Used the colors from the album art. Very basic. Not super happy with this, but I mean, it is just, sometimes it just be like that. Moving on. Number 7 is Folie à Deux by Fall Out Boy. This is a contender for definitely one of my favorite designs. It's inspired by this Pinterest post that I saw randomly of this more or less infographic on a business card kind of vibe. So that's kind of the idea here. Again, kept the red and yellow from the album art. It kept the kind of bear theme. Love a bear. I love also the way I cut it out. So cool. It was completely by accident. I didn't mean for it to feel so collagey, but it came out like that and I really like it. But I also really like the stacked Fall Out Boy type. Not a lot to say about this guy. I really like how it turned out. Obviously, back to my right hand man Nimbus Sands for copy text, but I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely a fave here. Folie à Deux. Great album. Great design. Number 6 is For Posterity by Dry Jacket. This is another one that I really, really like. It doesn't necessarily reinvent anything. It's also the millionth design that I just kind of drew the text box, made it a rectangle, and then filled the space. That is definitely a theme for a lot of these, but I mean, I don't hate it. I think it's fun. I think it fills out space nicely. I kept the original album art in the middle here, just kind of threw a different gradient map over it, and put it on this really intense red background. And this composition, I guess, was inspired by something that I saw on Canva. And when I went looking for that post, I couldn't find it anywhere. But there are plenty of other designs that I feel you can tell inspired this, so I'll put those on the screen. But yeah, I really love this big, dramatic, strong sans serif at the top for Dry Jacket, and then pairing it with something really skinny and tall. I just think it works well together. I know that's pairing type 101, but I just can't get enough of it. But yeah, really happy with this guy. It I feel is a little different from what I usually do. I tried to be less image focused and more this is a bunch of type and a small little picture. But I think it works. It's one of my faves for sure. As of right this second. Number 5 is Red by Taylor Swift. This one is definitely a favorite. Well, disclaimer. Let's start with a disclaimer. I made this before the master buyback news. So I put Taylor's version in the corner, only listed the first 16 songs because I was not going to list 45 songs on this poster. That's absolutely ridiculous. But I use the Taylor's version cover anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it is technically Taylor's version, but I really love the, like, it feels collage-y to me in a way, but it's also like very, like, you know, inverted looking through glass kind of vibe. Like the cutouts of the letters for red I think are really cool. It's like the glow around the letters I really like. I tried really hard with this one to make it kind of something different, I guess, but I mean it's still the same kind of idea of like text box in a rectangle and then fill it out and then like big image, but I feel like this would be a really cool like back cover or something. If Taylor Swift asked me to make her something, this is what I would make her. I love this one. It's really good. Number 4 is Oh Common Life by Fireworks. Here's another guy that I don't really like anymore. I'll be honest. When I was making it, I was really into it. I loved the idea of using kind of like different imagery from songs across the poster and kind of like matching it with the lines that they're inspired by. But overall, when I posted it, I was happy with it. Looking back on it, I don't love this. I really don't. I think it's just like a jumbled mess of stuff, and I don't like how anything's laid out. I feel like it was me trying to like not align to a grid too much, because I do like to stick to a grid. However, it was like it's like halfway sticking to a grid and then halfway not, and it doesn't make any sense to me. But what's one nice thing I can say? I like the Oh Common Life text at the bottom. I think it's cool. I was definitely trying to go for something specific, like a glow of sorts. Kind of like what I did with the red text. But it didn't work out. But I think it looks cool on the Oh Common Life. Oh, the other thing that I like about this is I took the outline of the album art and just kind of added a stroke around it and then tossed it in the background. And I said, that looks cool. It didn't feel complete without something like kind of taking up space in the background, if that makes sense. So this is what it was. But great album, horrible poster. Don't let this be the introduction to that. Number 3 is Brand New Eyes by Paramore. This is, I think, what I was trying to do with the Fireworks poster in using imagery from different songs. This is better executed than that. I think this would be a really cool shirt design with like the Paramore kind of across the chest on the front and then the rest of it on the back. Use new type here. Branched out a little bit. I think that's also why I really like this guy. This specific kind of collage-y design idea came from this really cool designer that I just randomly found on Pinterest that I followed on Instagram. I'll put like the specific post that I was really drawn to up. But I more or less wanted to do something like that, and that's how this came about. I love that like side A and side B are on different lines, and they're kind of just like listed under the big like album name text. Pretty happy with this guy. Oh, also kept the yellow monarch butterfly imagery from the original album art. So when I posted this, I said that I feel like Haley Williams would really like this. She has yet to hit my line, but if she ever does, she could gladly use this on a t-shirt. Let me know. Number 2 is Home, Like No Places There by The Hotelier. This is kind of another favorite for me. I really like how this guy turned out. If you have heard this album or you are kind of familiar with this kind of emo revival, I guess, genre, I feel like the album art to this is really iconic and something that you can't really take away from it, if that makes sense. I feel like the album art and this album are very much like intertwined. So when I was making this, I wanted to keep more of the house imagery and the nature aspect of things. So I found this picture on Unsplash and I was like, this is honestly perfect. I wanted to obviously keep the house kind of like the main subject of this, and yeah, added the original art under the track listing to kind of like tie it back, make it look kind of like a stamp, or like this album's 10 years old, so maybe this is like the 10-year album reissue. And this is like how it's packaged. Yeah, I really like the idea of like a strip of paper acting as like the main information on an album. So that's kind of what I went for here. Just like this would be a very simple package, but very happy with this guy. I think it's really cool and very different from what I usually do. Number 1 and a final design is American Idiot by Green Day. This guy is hands down my favorite thing I've ever made. This is just the coolest thing I've ever made, honestly. This changed a little bit. I posted it on Instagram and it didn't feel really complete at all. So I was revisiting this so I could, put an updated version on this video, and I just love what it has turned into. The colors, the pink, yellow, and green color, I like saw this Madison Square Garden concert flyer for Green Day, and it was like this big black text with these colors in the background, and it's just like so classic, like rock and roll poster to me for some reason. And when I went through and wanted to fix this up, that was the first kind of idea, and it just kept building on that. So yeah, this guy has had a few different versions. The version before this, I feel like, was a little confusing. I posted it to the Green Day subreddit because I was obsessed with it, and I was like, they're gonna love this. And I got torn apart. I got bullied to the point where I pulled this post off Reddit, which is embarrassing, but like it did make me think, maybe I should make this better. And I did. The track listing was kind of like the most confusing part. I spent hours. For some reason, when I get deep in the weeds, my design brain doesn't like make sense of masks. Masks are so hard for me to like wrap my mind around for some reason. It just like there's something that doesn't connect with them. So like masking out like the outline of the heart grenade in the middle took honestly hours. honest, hours of work. But I am really happy with this final result. Nothing really I would change, and honestly I do want to get this like professionally like printed, like blown up, printed and framed. I think it would look so cool. Truly my favorite thing I've ever made. Here we have all 10 albums in no particular order. Obviously I put my favorite first, but that's just me. I do play favorites. This was a really fun project. I think towards the end, with the more experimental stuff and stuff that's like truly inspired by a lot of what I see online, on Pinterest, on Instagram, that's where I had a lot of fun, where it was me trying to not recreate, but kind of like take something I've seen and be like genuinely very inspired by it and try and make my own kind of thing. I'm happy with 80% of how this project turned out, and yeah, it was a super fun time, honestly, making all of these, even the ones I had like not my favorite ideas for. I do want to do something like super similar in the future and keep to a schedule next time, but I mean, that's not the biggest deal in the world. It's really fun making this kind of thing, so let me know what you think. Let me know what your favorites are, if there's anything you would change. We love feedback here. Just be nice. Don't make me take this video down like I did the Reddit post. I am thinking about re-uploading the edited version and have been like, thank you for bullying me into making something better, because now I think you would like this one and see what they say. Not that I need validation from strangers on Reddit. I don't need that, but they were mean to me. All right, that's that's it. Thank you for watching. Give this guy a like if you liked it, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.